that with ease. See me then, baby girl, move your waistline with ease. Alright then. Anything you want.
Broadcasting live from the business capital of Antigua, ABS Radio 90.5 FM.
Arts GN Sports Show, and as usual joining in the studio with me tonight is my co-host Mr. Ricky Santos. Ricky, another week
and we have
another packed program,
another good lineup. And Zico, for as of next week we have some great news. You want to announce it to the listening audience?
Well, since you're always the bearer of good news, I'll let you do it.
Okay, from next week the Automotive Art GN Sports Show will be on television, and we'll be starting at 8 instead of 7:30. So it'll be on ABS television, radio, and Facebook Live. So we're very excited about that.
Yes, and then in that excitement, keeping along those lines, we got a really packed show as always. We have a couple of kids that we're gonna have a little chat with, and then the president of the ABFA, Mr. Everton Bato Gonzalez. We'll have a little bit of a look at the combine, the college ID combine that we did with those coaches from Drake University and from William Penn. We had a chance to catch up with them when they came in, so we have that interview, as well as the president of the Antigua Barbuda Cricket Association, Mr. Leon Kuma Rodney, and Shalana is going to join in as well, her usual stop, and then we wrap up with Dr. Mills, who is away for Thanksgiving, so we're going to do a phone in with Dr. Mills, but as always, packed show.
Yeah, exactly. And in the studio tonight we have with us the GNFC Rebels on the 9 coach, Nigel Skinny Graham, and 2 of his players, Ethan Camacho and Dimitri Breza. Good evening. Good evening, Ethan. Good evening, Dimitri.
Good evening. Evening.
How are you boys doing?
Good.
Aye.
And what do you boys think of your coach, Skinny?
He's good. Good.
He's good? Yeah, you can be honest, you don't have to say he's good.
He's good.
You sure that's your final?
He's good.
That's your final answer?
He's excellent.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay, fine.
So we'll take
Skinny,
excellent.
What do you think of these 2 young budding football stars?
Very good. Passion, hard work.
Passion and hard work.
Yeah.
I know Ethan is a goal scorer. So let's start with Ethan. Ethan, what school do you attend?
I attend St. John's Lutheran School.
And what grade are you in?
I'm in grade 4.
Do you have a favorite subject, Ethan?
Art.
Art. Okay.
That's a first.
Yeah, that is a first.
But that's good.
And Dimitri, what school do you attend?
St. John's Catholic Primary School.
And what grade are you in?
3R.
That's grade 3.
And do you have a favorite subject?
Yes.
What's your favorite subject?
Math.
Math. That seems to be, almost all the youngsters that have come in here.
That's
math.
That's good.
That's really
That's
really
good, because we struggle with math at the secondary level. So the more young ones I hear really like math, the better it is for us going forward. So that's a good thing.
And Coach Skinny, I know you inherit these youngsters from Coach Yaya. I know Yaya has a lot of challenges because at the under 7 division, the attention span is not that as an adult, so it can be quite challenging. How do you find coaching the under 9s?
Well, patience. Gotta have a lot of patience with them, but that's a part of coaching. So it's not really challenging that much as how people would think it is. But
And
working with them.
so you find they heed your attention and obey your coaching disciplines?
At times, they will get carried away and gaze, but that's a part of it.
And Skinny, you yourself are a footballer in your own rights, and
Yes.
I know you used to play for Five Islands, and now you're
Sorry.
sorry, I mean English Harbour, English Harbour,
English Harbour,
and
Empire.
Empire.
I know, I know grenades,
And now he's found his way. You know.
grenades.
Yes.
Yes.
Round Soutish.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Well, we wouldn't get into all of that.
Yeah, but you're not getting too much playing time. So
Oh, so
Aye,
so what you say? He plays left
Left
outside.
outside and right
Ah,
outside.
or right
it's,
outside.
it's the one of the beauties about the game is that you always have to be ready when your number is called, and I'm pretty sure Skinny is going to be. I mean, he had some of those same challenges last year, and I mean when he got his chance towards once the second round started, I think he pretty much featured in all the matches for Empire going
After
down
that.
the stretch,
So-
and had a pretty decent second half of the season. So, you know, I'm fully confident that once the opportunity presents itself, that he'll get his chance and hopefully make an impact then.
Yes. And what got you into coaching, Skinny?
Well, what really got me into coaching is teaching the younger ones, as I should say, kids, what I learned or what I know, like passing it on.
So it's like a passion for you.
yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
and it shows on the field. Now let's go back to Ethan. Ethan, do you have a favorite club? And what's your favorite club?
Manchester City.
Manchester City. And do you have a favorite player? And who's your favorite player?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Sorry?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo. Dimitri, do you have a favorite club?
Yes.
And what's your favorite club?
Manchester United.
Oh my. Well, that's not one of my favorite clubs, but to each his own. And what's your favorite player?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo. Well, we didn't get a Messi tonight.
Yeah, but you know, it's good because it means that our young players are actually watching and they're looking at different styles, different work rates, different abilities, and that speaks. What I've noticed about the younger players now is that they're watching the game differently than we watched it when we grew up.
And
When
of
we
course
grew up,
the-
we were watching it just to watch it. The younger ones, and it's getting younger and younger, they're actually looking at the games and analyzing and breaking
Trying
it
to
down
mimic.
based on what they're learning at all the academies across the country. So that's a good thing.
And Ethan, why did you start playing football?
When I was young, my parents put me onto a football team. Then after a while, I started to get into it, and I got into it more and more and more until I loved it.
Okay, so you really love it. And Dimitri, why did you start playing football?
Well, since I was a little boy, I liked to play it because I used to play for under 7. Because when I was in under 7, my dad asked if I liked football. Then I said yes. Then you started to teach me how to play football skills. But then I started getting into football a lot.
Oh, and do you watch it on TV? And so you enjoy. Most of the times you watch football or you watch other shows too.
I watch other shows too.
And what are some of your other favorite shows?
Basketball.
Basketball. So you like sports in general. And Ethan, what about you? You watch it on TV too?
If I watch football on TV,
Yes.
yes.
And you watch basically the Premier League, or you watch any of the other leagues?
I watch all of them.
All of the leagues. Well, that's very good. Do you play it on your Xbox or PlayStation?
I play I have this game on my tablet. It's about the World Cup.
Okay, so it's
Yes,
the World Cup game. Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. But you realize that you have to take your studies seriously also too, right? Dimitri, you realize you have to take your educational studies seriously also too, because What do you want to be when you grow up, Ethan?
Footballer.
You want to be a professional footballer. And
Surprise.
how about you, Dimitri?
Surprise,
Footballer and
surprise.
basketballer.
Oh, both.
If you can get both to work, that's good. But if both don't work, then one can possibly.
Yes. So,
But I know Dimitri would gravitate to basketball as well because his dad plays basketball.
right.
So there's gonna be that desire to play basketball. Well, and that's a good thing.
Well,
Shout out time.
you'd like to give a shout out to anybody, Dimitri, out there in the listening audience, and your mom's name is,
Chevy and Jason.
and your sister's name is,
Alyssa Fraser.
anybody else?
My dad.
And what's your dad's name?
Alfred Fraser.
And Dimitri. Ethan.
My mommy, my daddy, and my little brother. And my
Wait hold a second. And your mom and dad's names?
Kaden Kamasho and Ophelia Kamasho.
Mm-hmm.
And my
yes,
little
and
brother's name is Adam Kamasho.
anybody else?
My friend Cole.
Your friend Cole Gardner.
Yes, Cole. Shout out to Cole.
You think we should ask Skinny if he wants to give a shout out?
Skinny too big for shout out, man. Just shout out for the children.
Okay, remember when we had Yaya here, he was upset that
I know. Yeah.
okay.
No special treatment for the coaches.
Well,
Shout-
we'd
Shout
like
out to reserve for the children.
Yeah. Well, we'd like to thank Dimitri and Ethan for coming on to the GN Sports Show and expressing their thoughts on football. And we'd like to thank Coach Skinny for accompanying them. And we think that you guys are doing a wonderful job there. I know Ethan loves to score goals. He's a striker. And what about you, Dimitri? What position you like to play?
Striker.
Striker too. So thanks a lot for being on the GN Sports Show.
You're
And we wish you the
welcome.
best of luck in the Youth Futsal League, which ends on Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah,
I thought
Saturday
we had another week.
No,
Saturday's
Saturday's
tomorrow
the
is the last. Like the day after tomorrow, Saturday is the
last.
last.
Yes, that's the last. That's the final. That's the final.
Yeah, I guess we've managed to catch up really
Well, we had,
fast because of the rain.
we had to double up on the matches last week and this week.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
So we'll take a little break now, and then we'll return with the president of the Football Association, Everton Bato Gonzalez, and we'll be talking a little more football there.
Conversations is back, but before we meet our guests for Season 2, we'll take a look back at the highlights of Season 1 all throughout the month of September. So join us every Monday at 8 p.m. for Conversations, right here on ABS.
APA would like to inform consumers that the electricity network will be closely monitored during Hurricane Irma. Based on the severity of the weather conditions, the network will be completely closed down to minimize damage. This will be done under the advice of the Met Office. Residents are asked to have a supply of flashlights and other battery-operated lighting equipment. Candles and kerosene lamps are possible fire hazards and not encouraged.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Automotive Arts GN Sports Show. And joining us in the studio live is the president of the Antigua-Barbuda Football Association, Mr. Everton Bato Gonzalez. And I would like to extend thanks to Mr. Gonzalez for finally gracing us with his presence on the Automotive Arts GN Sports Show. Mr. Gonzalez, welcome.
Good night, and a special good night to your co-host, Mr. Ricky Santos, the incomparable, and to the viewing audience.
Excellent stuff. So, football is alive and well in our wonderful, wonderful, wonderful country. But I want to get your take on the current state of affairs as it pertains to football in Antigua, and then we'll segue into as many different things as time will permit us.
Yes. Well, things are great. God has blessed us with showers of blessings, and a lot of people might have been of the opinion that it's creating a stoppage to football, but the pitches that the football is played on are in tip-top condition, and we're indeed grateful for that. The recreational grounds, as you know, is our flagship venue, and we're particularly pleased with what Mr. Merrick and his crew has done there. And as I travel around the length and breadth of Antigua and Barbuda, I see all the other fields looking nice and sweet from these welcome showers. The first division and the second division is hot like fire, and the Premier Division is shaping up. There is no more undefeated team in that, and so it will be a battle for the roses come February.
Yeah, nobody running. It doesn't feel like anybody running away with the Premier Division, this season. But I just before we move on to something else, I must say that the first couple of weeks of the Premier Division, I was really impressed. I remember walking into the grounds and I was like, this is the best the turf at the recreation ground has looked in about 10 years.
Yeah,
and quite rightly, as you mentioned, kudos must be given to Mr. Merrick and his staff. Whatever they're doing, please ask them to continue doing it.
Yes,
because the shape of the field, the shape of the playing surface pretty much shapes up the quality that we get on the weekend.
Definitely. So.
And it's like a double whammy, because you welcome the showers, but then you have to reschedule a lot of games.
Yeah.
And I know you had to bring some midweek and so forth. So the rescheduling must have been very challenging for you guys in the association in terms of trying to get the makeup game so the league is not extended too long.
That's true. It builds capacity.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I was thinking, because I had a chance earlier in the week I think it was Wednesday, to watch a game, and I remember not so long ago that midweek games were a regular fixture.
Yeah.
And then the dynamic in Antigua is that there really isn't much to do in the middle of the week. So hey, why not? And then, it's possibly something that we can look at. I guess we've grown accustomed to having all 5 games.
Yeah, played on the weekend.
But there could be a little
there's scope for that.
Little scope for a midweek game, because if I'm at home and like, you know what, kids have done their homework. It's a Wednesday night.
We're taking a game.
Go watch a game. And I remember growing up that being one of the highlights of the midweek with my dad.
That's correct.
We'd watch games at Yasco, or
Yasco,
or even at the ARG as well. So it's possibly something we can look at.
Good.
For me, I as a national coach, I'm always interested in what is happening at that level. What are some of the upcoming events, if you don't mind me asking? What are some of the upcoming engagements within our national setup, be it at the youth level or even at the senior level?
Oh, next year is going to be a full calendar. I think as early as January on the 17 boys have to start preparing, and on the 17 girls also have to start preparing for tournaments coming up. We have the final Nations League match, I think, in March. The point standing is not too kind with that, but it gives us an opportunity to revisit early in 2019 and to determine if we need to tweak the plan that we had, or to completely get rid of it for 2019 and beyond. So the Premier Division will be winding down, so we have to take that into consideration. The Painters Project will get a additional leg up and boosted up, because we want to do the Kickstart program coming in January also, which is a similar program to what you are going through now in terms of recruiting student athletes.
College students.
So we are looking to up the tempo with that. and they might. We are also looking at 1 or 2 international matches where we can continually test the local contingent of the national senior team and probably the under 20 to see if they're able to hold their own, because there's much discussion that we have become overly reliant on overseas-based players.
Well, I'm very pleased to have Mr. Gonzalez in the studio tonight, because in collaboration with the Antigua and Barbuda Football Association, we just concluded a combine for University ID, which you just alluded to, University ID combine, with 2 coaches, Jamie Highcock from William Penn and Kevin Brennan from Drake University. Of course, we were afforded the opportunity to meet them because the ABFA had hosted these same 2 coaches.
I think it was in May.
In May. And you know, I've always said this, that I think everybody relies too much on the various sporting associations to do everything. We seized on the opportunity when, and from Generation X standpoint, that is, that once these coaches were here, and with the consent of the ABFA, because we always do everything where we seek the governing bodies, and in particular Mr. Gonzalez said, well, look, we wanted to approach these guys so that we can bring them back when their bursaries were full, which was in November.
I like that.
And so that we can offer scholarships to the young Antiguan budding footballers, so that they can get university scholarships.
Yes.
And Mr. Gonzalez, we're very pleased to announce tonight that they have identified 13 players. Have been identified.
10 males.
10 males and 3 females. At the moment, it may go up.
Yes.
But at the moment, they have identified 3 that are possible scholars. Of course, a lot will depend on their academic grades, because they're presently trying to secure all of their academic records, so that and hopefully they will meet these requirements to get into the universities. And it's not only going to be for their universities necessarily, because even if their academics may not reach the level that is required by the university, they will farm them out to junior colleges,
yes.
And then in a year transfer them.
Transfer back, yeah.
I'm learning this process as I'm going along now, but we're very pleased to announce that 13 has been identified. We're not permitted as yet to call the names because of the
yes.
Of the
there's still some inside work to be done before you can be able to.
And once that is done, and the kids and the parents have been notified.
Yes.
And we have been promised that next week, Thursday, when we'll be starting our show, hosted on television, radio, and Facebook Live, we'll be able to make a huge announcement where I will be able to name names.
Yes.
So, but I would like to give the ABFA kudos for affording us the opportunity to have met these coaches in the first place, because had it not been for you guys, we would have never met these coaches, so they would have never returned here.
Yes.
And because the numbers are so high, as I told them, they definitely will be returning next year.
Yes. It's falling nicely within our mantra, because we want to flood Antigua and Barbuda with graduates who will continue to contribute to the further development of Antigua and Barbuda. This program would have started a number of years ago, and myself and Mr. Blur are beneficiaries of this program in its infancy, and so I'm only too happy to partner with the Generation Next organization so that we can continue this work, because education is key, and the ABFA has always made that a top priority. And as we speak, there is no other association who have been able to attract and to provide opportunities for student athletes compared to the Antigua and Barbuda Football Association. And we're so happy that you're partnering with us, and we'll continue. This year it's 10, next year it might be 20. Tie that with the Free Kick Foundation with another 10, 20 there, and we'll go on and on and on and on, because football is for a time, but education is for a lifetime.
I love that quote here. I think I'm going to steal that from Joe.
I keep telling him he's in the wrong profession. But that's a different discussion. What I found interesting with the just concluded combine is that in conversations with both coaches, initially, before coming, in conversations I would have had with them individually and together, they were looking at the possibility of one, maybe two. Halfway through, because what we did, we had 2 training sessions and then scrimmage, which we must give kudos to ABS for coming and taping, because that is going to be integral in
the whole profiling
for additional universities.
Those
two coaches were here, they would have seen firsthand the ability of each player, but going back, they will do the editing and make that footage available to other schools. So that's a plus. But what I found interesting was halfway through the scrimmage, one of the coaches looked across and he was like, Zico, honestly, I could have done all my recruiting for the entire season right now. And that speaks volumes for the quality of players that we have. But the reality of the situation is we must get our youngsters to understand that you must have the academics to go along with your athletic ability.
That is
and
correct.
The other one made an interesting observation, and these are both English guys, by the way. And
yes.
And the observation was, you guys are having English-born players playing for the national team, and you have this amount coming through. There's a possibility for so much more to happen with the present group that we have between 15 and I would say 19, 20. And I hope that we can capture that as an association, and we can find a way to balance bringing those who are eligible from a higher level, but also bringing through more of our young players because they have the ability, and hopefully we can find the middle ground in terms of affording those opportunities. But I want to segue a little bit, because you mentioned some work being done at Painters. I noticed that they're seating, they're 2 different sets of bleachers going in. Give us an idea of what additional work is going to be done in the facility in terms of it being closer to what we envision or what we need as a technical training center.
Well, we're starting with some developmental work where brush cutters will be up there as early as tomorrow, clearing the western side of the synthetic surface pitch. You would have seen on the southern side that is cleared. We are looking to move swiftly into the accommodation area where when the teams arrive in Antigua and Barbuda, they'll be able to stay on the facility and then moving into the pitches if they are training at any particular time.
That is integral. And I don't think people understand the importance of having the accommodation so close to the pitch that you're training.
In addition to that, the lighting will come because the request for usage has been significant, and we've had to take some of the first and second division matches up there, which we have no issue with in the meantime. So that will come. The surface to the west of the synthetic surface, we're still juggling in our minds whether we want to keep it as a natural grass pitch or we want to put in another synthetic surface. We're happy for the rains, but we don't know if rains will continue. And you know, when rain doesn't come for quite a time, what will happen to our pitches. So we're looking at it. We're looking at also 2 mini pitches on the southern side for the 5-a-sides and the 6-a-sides. So if you're up there with your kids watching a senior match and the kids want to have a little run around supervised, they can be on those mini pitches, which are similar to futsal pitches, and they could have a nice grand old time there, and the parents could come back, pick them up after the senior match and make the way out. But the accommodation and the locker rooms, of course, those are key, and the lighting are key in terms of priority for now. Also, we want to put in some patrons' bathrooms because we anticipate that there'll be a migration to those games under that condition, and we certainly don't want anybody inconvened. The parking we're looking at also, because you know that is a major highway, so we're looking at the premises between the factory to the west of us and our fence, and also on the northern side to turn that into a good parking area for our patrons that will come, but we're concentrating on the lights, more seating, the locker room, the patrons' bathroom early in the year 2019, and certainly by May of 2019 to start, if not complete, the accommodation and the physical training center up there one time too.
And one of my biggest pet peeves, I think I've spoken to you about this, is the garbage. And I would like you as president of the Football Association to, I'm tired of talking about that, to reiterate that when they're using or even watching matches, there are receptacles that are there.
They are.
Kindly place their
the litter, all stuff
in because that's one of my biggest pet peeves.
I get sad and sometimes I get emotional, and I sometimes I have to restrain myself from getting too aggressive, because I just can't imagine such a beautiful facility which has meant so much to us and for what we have waited for so many years. Patrons go up there and they just throw things all over the place, and I find that myself and yourself and a number of others who came up the facility spend too much time picking up after those who would have used it.
Yes, that's one. So I'm glad. I just wanted you to say it out there to the listeners.
So we're sending out on behalf of Generation X and the Antigua and Barbuda Football Association, please help us take care of the Painters technical facility.
Thank you. That's one of my. You know this, Zico. When we're running our leagues up there with the ABF, I am walking around picking up litter all the time. I know this because if we want these facilities for the benefit of the country and the footballers, we have to look after it. And it doesn't take much.
No.
When you're finished with a soda bottle or water bottle, there are receptacles. It's not to say that there's no receptacles. There are receptacles there. Just place it in the bin.
Yeah.
That's all we ask.
Yep. And of course in January, I forgot the major event restarts the new year every year. Could you please tell the audience what happens in January every
Well, we'll be kicking off, and this year is going to be a big year for us because it's our 5th annual Gomez Netherlands Insurance Youth Football League.
And it's been bigger and better every year.
Every year it has grown. Last year we had 62 teams in it.
Wow.
Over 7 divisions. Yes. This year is going to be bigger because we are including a female division.
You're helping the ABFA because we have looked at our female structure, and as you quite rightly said, Ricky, we are not of the opinion that we have a monopoly on the ideas of how to develop the football. And so we are so appreciative to guys and organizations like yours who delve into those areas where we can partner to develop those areas that we're a little behind it.
And one thing I take pride in is that there is not one single event that Generation Next Football Club has entered into without seeking the endorsement of the ABFA and advising the ABFA what we're doing. And we always do that, and we'll always continue. You are the governing body, and I think all due respect has to go that way.
Corporate governance at its best.
Yes.
I see Mr. Gonzalez already planning his career after being president, but that's
no.
That's our joke.
What you're thinking of, I have utilized it in football, and I will take it to the other level.
I keep telling
as my predecessors.
I keep telling him that he's in the wrong profession.
I have told him the same thing too.
Yeah. But thanks.
Thank you
for being on our.
And we hope he will be on here more often.
I shall as time permits, because I enjoy you guys.
We must find a way to periodically get some updates as to what is happening with our football. I'm looking forward to the under-17s in particular, because a lot of the youngsters that Shine and myself had with the under-15s a couple of years ago, those guys are going to be gravitating to the 17s, so I'm interested to see how they develop. So,
and thank you for that wonderful job that you did with the under-14s. And I just want to send a clarion call before I leave. All the parents who are thinking about sending their kids to university and you don't have the wherewithal, or you're wondering how you're going to do it, get them involved in football, and Generation Next and the Antigua and Barbuda Football Association will provide that pathway to a better education.
Yes.
Well, I don't think we can get a better endorsement than that.
Just before we leave, all of this would not have been possible. All of this combine would not have been possible without the kind assistance of the Calvin Air Foundation, who came on board without hesitation.
Good Samaritan.
And they afforded that, along with
yes,
Morris Merchant,
yes,
and the Prime Minister's Scholarship Fund.
Of course.
They were on board. Anchorage, they helped us out with the accommodation.
Yes.
And there was a corporate donor that we're not permitted to announce. Still we're not allowed permitted. They wanted to remain anonymous, who also assisted.
No problem. Corporate donor, whoever you are, thank you very much.
So this combine took place because of those kind donations.
Yes. Automotive, I like automotive art. Mr. Show and his people up there, Mr. Donald, to them, they're good people.
Yes.
So whenever you're looking for automotive supplies and accessories, where to go, Ricky?
Automotive art.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Gonzalez.
Thanks for being here, and we'll definitely find a way to get you back on the show. Right now, we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be back with the GN Automotive Arts GN Sports Show here on ABS Radio and on Facebook.
ABS 90.5 FM is the new home of the Generation Next Sports Show. 90 minutes of sports that will edify and inspire you. Join the hosts as they showcase budding stars. Plus, they will keep you informed about the latest developments in the wonderful world of sports. Thursday evenings at 7:30 will never be the same again. The GN Sports Show, Thursdays at 7:30 on its new home, ABS Radio and on Facebook Live. Don't miss it.
Conversations is back. But before we meet our guests for Season 2, we'll take a look back at the highlights of Season 1 all throughout the month of September. So join us every Monday at 8 p.m. for Conversations right here on ABS.
APA would like to inform consumers that the electricity network will be closely monitored during Hurricane Irma. Based on the severity of the weather conditions, the network will be completely closed down to minimize damage. This will be done under the advice of the Met Office. Residents are asked to have a supply of flashlights and other battery-operated lighting equipment. Candles and kerosene lamps are possible fire hazards and not encouraged.
Sports Show here on ABS Radio and on Facebook Live. And joining us in the studio is the president of the Antigua Barbuda Cricket Association, Mr. Leon Kuma Rodney. Mr. Rodney, welcome to the Automotive Arts GN Sports Show. And obviously we're going to talk about cricket. I mean, we had the semi-finals and the finals of the women's T20. I want to get, first of all, your take on as I know you were instrumental in the entire operation, and from my vantage point, from the warm-up games all the way down to the final, for the most part, well, I'm au fait with football and not so much cricket, but from my vantage point, it was an excellent production. And so I want to get your take on the entire event from the start all the way down to the last ball being bowled.
Blessed love to you and to Ricky. And excuse me, and blessed love to the listeners. It's a pleasure to be here. You know what? I'm feeling good about the whole production because at the end of the day, it was about Antigua and Barbuda, and for those who would have seen the wisdom to bid for the tournament, the semi-finals and finals. And what I do not want us to do is to overlook the warm-up matches, because from an economical standpoint, the warm-up matches, let's think about it. we had 9 teams, 9
9 out of the 10.
international women teams, 9 out of the 10 international women teams here in Antigua, utilizing the hotel services, the transport services, yam some food,
Even the telecommunication companies.
drink some warm, telecommunication. Listen, everything that you can think about. You know, so seriously, when you really equate that to the value from an economical standpoint, so I think one team would have stayed in Antigua for maybe 4 days, and that would have probably been the least in terms of a stay. 1 or 2 teams, 4 days, 6 days, 8 days.
And the supporters too.
For the warmer part of it. Let's not get to the supporters
Not yet.
but let
Just the
us
teams.
look at the international standards. So what happens when a team comes into Antigua? Team might come into Antigua with 23 people. That automatically become 25 persons, because the liaison officer and the CPO, which is the close protection officer, has to stay at the hotel.
Must.
And based on international standards, nobody room together anymore. So if a team comes into Antigua with 23,
That's
you know, you
23
have
rooms.
25 rooms
Minimum.
because the CPO and the liaison officer. So if at one point in time we had 9 teams, let us just use the average as 25. Me can't count too good, but that tell me that are 225 rooms, hotel rooms. You can work it out, because if you even have one team at 4 days, one at 6, you know, and I just want to give kudos to the person or persons who would have sorted out the whole situation and have those 9 teams here in Antigua for whatever period of time. And we move on to the semifinals and finals. So we would have got to the semifinals, which included West Indies, and let us be real about it. Could the grounds take more people? Yes, because you can't full survive with just cricket stadium easily. But for those of us who operate in the background would also understand that from an insurance standpoint, when you hear the ground full, somebody is, I mean, the ground full, man, and it can take 10 more thousand people. But what if something happened?
And then you have to plan for that eventually.
Exactly. So the grounds was sold out. And then we come to the finals. I want to give kudos to the whole Antigua for supporting the event. Because once West Indies would have gotten eliminated, it now becomes about the event, a world event finals taking place in Antigua and Barbuda, the first standalone. So I think that the people responded to the event, and the grounds again were sold out. Could we have taken more people in the grounds? I would say yes. But the reality of the situation is, if you take the risk of doing that and something goes wrong, then you hear, because you know insurance there now, you pay insurance for 49,000 years, you know, and once something happened to insurance, you know, oh, well, you know, wait, we can't pay because.
The fine print.
The fine print. You know, just look at the bank and just walk and rob people. But we're not getting into that. This is sports.
I'll tell you something though, and I think I mentioned this to you at Sticky Wicket. I got excited about the competition when we had the cricket match the same day of the food fair. And I remember sitting in the party stand and looking up and looking the stands, the south stands, and that was completely full. But the interesting part about it, it wasn't a situation that the cricket was full and food fair was empty. The food fair was still packed, but we had a situation where individuals actually made it a point to stay for the cricket, and that was the point for me where it registered. You know what? this is going to be massive.
Well, you know,
This is going to be incredibly massive, and I think somebody set the bar really, really high because
You
you know,
know,
next
Jerome,
food fair what gonna happen.
Jerome, I'm glad that you say that, you know, because I would have said to somebody a couple of days ago, listen, boy, I jump, you know, the food fair, that food fair cricket match have a serious impact and determine what was going to happen for the semi-finals and finals. But I will always also say to you, and I hope the Minister of Sports is listening and the government, because what happened now, come food fair next year, you can't tell the people that nothing happening in the
Something
middle.
is going to have to happen.
Something must happen in the middle. Whether it's going to be football, cricket, hockey, volleyball, basketball, something must now happen in the middle. And I'm telling you, I have been under tremendous, well, I'm not say pressure, because I'm not dealing with pressure. But the phone just keep listening. I want to, you know, and I become a food fair next year, me sit down and I'm a fish, you know. Me have to watch something. So, Mr. Minister and government, Prime Minister, put up the money. They say people save for bike, yeah, save for the battery, save for some kind of sports next year.
But what you touched on a little earlier, Kuma, which I've been saying also too since this event was coming here. You mentioned the number of rooms and all the side benefits, the taxi drivers, the restaurants and so forth. Everybody benefits. I hope the Minister of Sports and the government is listening also to sports tourism. That is huge, and I think that this should have been a platform to launch the sports tourism product here in Antigua, because that's a huge event, as you just quite rightfully said, and I just hope that we are launching sports tourism.
In terms of...
Well, you know, to be honest with you, I don't want to give enough respect for what you're saying, but you see with me, I see what I get. If we have to wait on this to launch sports tourism, when we have Sir Isaac Alexander Richards and all the big cricketers, then we're in a sad state. So I'm not going to even agree with you that this should have been a platform to launch sports tourism. Sports tourism launched long time via Sir Isaac Alexander Richards and them people. Maybe we're not paying enough attention.
That's what I was just about to say.
Maybe we're not paying enough attention because too many persons, especially from maybe the political standpoint, I mean, good from politics, so we have to talk the truth. Because today, a minister, yesterday he was maybe some kind of a office clerk, and will become minister today. And he know what is the best thing for sports and culture. When he have some serious technician that can assist him with that. But you know, I can't get past that for now. Till when maybe somebody wake up and understand that. You know, sometimes in life we get too hype, you know, cause kind of mess up the meditation. But the truth, most importantly, that I'm talking the truth. But at the end of the day, if we stick to what we're talking about, it was absolutely. I don't think that anybody can complain. And I have had the opportunity last Saturday to speak with Mr. Dave Richardson, the CEO of ICC, who would have said to me, and I'll accept him a lie, something wrong. He said, listen, what you saw last 2 years ago with the finals in England, it was great at Lords. But the leading up matches, there really wasn't anybody at the matches. So the Caribbean this year has done exceptionally well with the first standalone female tournament, because the average at the games leading up to the finals and semi-finals was about 3,000 people match. And you know, I want to take this great opportunity right now to give the Antigua venue team, have to do that, because you know, we had our issues, but at the end of the day, we deliver big time under the leadership of Miss Brendalee Brown. She was the venue manager. I think the Antigua venue team did exceptionally well in delivering the venue to the ICC personnel for the tournament, and one or two little issues, everybody know. You see the little thing on the TV, man, I want out to the choices of all them parts in bottom and so, but at the end of the day, that is a social issue. That is not even a cricket issue.
It's a social
issue.
issue.
So even though we have to fix that from a cricketing standpoint, because you know England coming up, So yes, the Antigua and Barbuda Cricket Association will have to be looking to fix that with the ground staff and so forth. But when you look at it, it's a social issue because you see people walk over down St. John's every day. We then chooses don't pass them bottom. And is it correct? Maybe it's not, but you have to fix the social issues too. You know, so at the end of the day, I also want to give some kudos to Minister E.P. Chedgren. I don't love to give him too much credit, but the truth must be the truth, because he was one of the person from the onset to put the LOC together. Chairman Mr. Moorhead, Zoval Bartley, can't call any name because I forgot somebody can feel at all. You know, so if they call my phone, they won't answer call for my phone. But the truth is, I think from a local standpoint that we have done exceptionally well to provide and deliver the product at the level of which we did. And for me, I think that we did that in the percentage of very high 90s in order to get everything right. Some people perfectionists, but when you work them out, they fall in the 70s. So again, I think that it was a superb effort by the government and the Cricket Association and everybody in Antigua and Barbuda who made it work.
And in terms of the domestic cricket, what's in store for what's coming up in terms of the domestic cricket, in terms of youth development or otherwise?
Right, so what's coming up very shortly, based on memory, and you know, remember I'm getting younger, so I can't remember everything. So we have the CWI Cricket West Indies 4-day tournament match comes up here. I think it's from the 13th, sometime in December, and then we have the Leeward Islands on the 15th and on the 17th tournament, which will take place here. The Antigua and Barbuda Cricket Association domestic tournament will start. That I will prefer to defer to my first Vice President, Kenny Lewis. Call him up and invite him to your program, and he can give you more details, because notwithstanding, I know he's the man that handles that, and he has to keep me informed. Right. Obviously, I'm sure that you're fully aware that England comes into Antigua on the 28th of October, and then they play a test match, the second test match here in Antigua from the 31st of January to the 4th of February. So there's a lot of things that will happen, and I'm sure once we continue to put the program out there, you can follow it, because GN Sports, you know, is very much a part of the product.
Well, thanks for those kudos. But in terms of the school league, is it the association that runs it, or is it the ministry?
It's the ministry, but from where I sit, I will want to continue to recommend that some discussion need to be had, because you know, when you sit in a leadership position of an association like this, you see things, and things that you would have done, you believe that you can pass it on and let things happen. Am I overly excited about what I've seen in the school leagues? Maybe no. But if the discussion is had, I believe that we can fix a number of things, because we have to be able to understand. Let me repeat that. We have to be able to understand that some people are given a job to do, and some people don't know what to do, how to do. Some people know what to do, but they can't do what they know how to do. We have to look past some issues where maybe, let me put it down, it may sound like it may hit somebody. I don't want to do that, because my new approach to things right now is about
working
solutions, dealing with the solutions, and forget about what happened yesterday. But also you must be able to accept the truth. Sometimes we give people jobs that do not fully understand what the roles are. So I will just simply say, and let me just answer your question in a very nice way. Let's say that the Cricket Association, or any association for whatever discipline, football, probably need to say to the ministry, listen, let's talk about it. Cricket, let's talk about it and see how best we can deal with it for the betterment of the sport.
I agree with that sentiment 100%. I think all of the school programs should be coordinated and run with the guidance of the relative association.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right,
Let's put it that way, because we really don't want to go throwing people under the bus,
No.
even though it may be the truth. But as I said,
No, but
my new approach to the whole situation right now is to
finding the
let us
solution.
deal with solution, because you can just get up and say, yesterday I won football in the school, a parish. You may say, parish do this, really won the cricket, you know, but where are we going to go with what happened yesterday?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So let us find some loose solutions, and for the persons in authority, they also have to find and give some respect. So you would have been one in the generation next to a certain level for a period of time. They must be able to sit down and say, well, what it is that you have been doing that seems to be so successful, but the school program not going anywhere. Kuma, what it is that you has been doing that seems
that is success, because you've done
to bring the Cricket Association to this level, and the school program not going anywhere. Let's talk about it.
Yes, I agree with that. I agree.
You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's not about you and me now. It's about them youths, because if you have no junior program, forget about the senior program. Because we get dead tomorrow. Well, we're not really dead tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
Because me lived to me 92.
But the cricket and the football are still going to be played. So
Exactly.
there has to be, and I think all it's too obvious and all too well, and it's the same thing with football and cricket. And I would go.
Not only sports. Let's
sports.
I
agree. Sports
is that
general.
we
fight.
Our
We fight
egos.
instead of working together.
Me not the ego. Me not the ego.
Our egos
dead.
tend to be, and alluding to your point. If you are honest and you look at the program being run, whether it be in a different sporting discipline, and it's working, then how about taking your ego out of the way and picking up the phone and say, listen, Puma, I noticed in the last 3-4 years a marked difference. Give me some ideas.
Exactly.
And that for me, as an athlete, and now with me coaching and getting a little bit into administration, that for me is the biggest hindrance to development in sports in Antigua, is that we can't seem to get our egos. And here's the thing: for the massive egos that these sport and administrative personalities have, your ego can't be big and fragile at the same time. So it can't be a situation where you have a big ego, and because Kuma say, well, hey, you know, this bottle should have been here, you Kuma can't say that. Kuma not supposed to say that.
You know
why can't he say it?
I tell you why. Because first things first, there's a number of persons who have been here because they support red, one over because they support blue. But guess what? I have worked in sports and culture through red and blue and red, and if you bring pink, orange, white, everything, I'm going to still be here. Because, just for example, I told one minister one time, you making a lot of noise because you're the minister of culture. Now I call the name, but you know who he be. But I tell him, the people around Liberta and so go vote you out, and me still be in charge of cricket and sports and so forth. You understand? Because me not deal with no blue, no pink and no orange. Me I deal with my country when it comes to sports and culture. So that is very important, my brother. That people must take this thing more serious than what it appears to be. And stop the foolishness, as I say, the ego. I don't have an ego. Because if tomorrow I say I have a call up, it's a blur, boy, I see a little thing you do there. But like that I go on for the football, I feel I can do that into the cricket. It's gonna happen. There are some people, I really don't like them, because they don't like me. But me and them, no, but me and them talk from a professional standpoint. Me tell you the truth, me don't like them, because they don't like me for certain reason, but what you see what I get. But from a professional standpoint, and I'm going to have to talk to them, I'm going to do it. You know? And you not liking me is not my problem, you know?
That's the person not liking me problem.
Oh. So, you know, we just have to take this thing on a very serious note, and to be honest with you, I'm so overly excited about what happened with the women's tournament here in Antigua and Barbuda. And I think the government made an absolutely superb decision to, and Mr. E.P. Chet Green should be given a lot of credit, and Minister Matthew, who came after and give some support to what's happening, and for the local, the LOC, and for the venue staff and everybody, the regional staff and everybody. I think that we did an exceptional job to host the tournament, and it's something that would have now put the Antigua and Barbuda Cricket Association in a little. Well, listen, we have been doing a good job in hosting international matches, home series. England comes in here on the 28th, but what took place with the ICC Women's Tournament has now put us in a position to just push the bar up a little bit. We may not be able to accomplish everything, because at the end of the day, I'm not sure that CWI would have that kind of a deep pocket when it comes to the money as ICC to put certain things in place. But what I can assure you, as I sit here as the president of the Antigua and Barbuda Cricket Association, the level of operation that we have provided for international home series will be up a notch. So it's just real. I hope also that the inspiration to female cricketers, especially the younger ones, we will be able to take it to the next level, because it's of paramount importance that maybe the next female World Cup, we must, boy, whether I'm dead or alive, maybe I will send a message. If I'm dead, I will send a message and say, yes, Antigua has somebody on the team. But we have to take it serious. Let us be real about sports in Antigua and Barbuda. For a little nation of 108 square miles, we're not going to be able to operate at the highest professional level possible, because you can't pay people for play sports on a daily basis in Antigua. It's just not viable. You can't do it. But if the players that are involved put as much professionalism into the operation, then when you get to the next level, professionalism is there already. You see? So I know that there's this thing that, boy, you're only professional if you get paid. I'm going to really subscribe to that. You can't be a professional without getting paid. Professionalism is about how you carry yourself, how you deliver yourself.
I humbly disagree with you saying that you can't have a professional sportsmen and women here in Antigua. I think you can. I think it's possible. We may not be able to track the dollars, the same amount of dollars.
You see what I'm saying to you, just go right back to what I'm saying to you. I've just said to you that professionalism doesn't mean that you get paid.
No, I'm talking about paid. I'm talking about paid. I think it can be a job. It may not be as highly paid as the Premier League.
What I will tell you, Ricky, is of the opinion that if whatever your job is, if your job is to move the bottle from there to the door, that you should be remunerated
right.
for that.
Okay, let us just for a minute agree that what you're saying make a whole lot of sense, right? That you should be remunerated. I wanted to now remove the remuneration. And are you saying to me that because you are not remunerated,
no,
if you hold on, if you're supposed to turn up here for 7 o'clock for training, because you're not remunerated, you're coming for 8 o'clock?
No, I'm not saying that. But
okay.
the challenge to that is that everybody has to earn a living. And the thing about it is that if they're not being remunerated for that, then they have to have a job. So can they leave their job to come for that time?
Listen, that's all I'm saying. Listen, that's a debate that you will work out, because there's something they call sacrifice. And people find ways on a consistent basis to make that sacrifice to get where they want to go to. And you see, that is some of the stuff. Just for example, I'm going to make a serious example. So because of this tournament, we had to have net bowlers. I'm not going to call names and so forth. Now, at this level, to get net bowlers to bowl to these females, you can easily go to a club and get some net bowlers.
Yes.
Fast bowlers that go running fast, and based on the competitiveness, they might knock down two of those girls. But when you do the research, the net bowlers for this tournament will be like on the 17s, on the 15s, on the 19s. Should they be remunerated to bowl in the nets? I'm just asking you a question.
No, I don't think so.
Exactly, you don't think so. I'm saying that when we used to bowl to overseas team as death bowlers, people sometimes nobody call Jerome Block. They call Kuma, they call Vicky, but Jerome Block, I say, what? Why me want to bowl to Viv, me want to bowl to one of them? Because he just feel once he get to deliver some real good deliveries, somebody's going to see him.
Yes.
There's always that.
Now, when you call up them young guys at the age of 15 and 17, the first thing them ask is how much you pay. You see what I'm saying? And when you explain to them, bro,
It's the
really
exposure.
truly, it's about getting the experience and look to improve on your skills and do hard work and improve your skills. So let's forget about the money, you know, because if you improve your skills and get to the next level, the money will come.
Yes, no, but
The man, you know, there was a coach boy come at me here what you're saying about, you know, tomorrow you have to buy your shoes, you have to buy a bat. You know, so it's a challenge.
It is a
I'm
challenge.
saying to you, as much as I agree that people should be remunerated, I'm saying to you that professionalism doesn't always entails remuneration.
And
I agree with
and
that.
It comes
I agree
before
with
that
that
as well.
statement. I'm not disagreeing with you. All I'm saying is that if we're going to have our athletes here in Antigua and the Caribbean to a wider degree excel, their job must be sports. And the thing about it, because then they can dedicate all of their time to the sport. Yes, they would not be remunerated like a Premier League player in the UK or somebody playing in the Bonga League or wherever. But if they could sustain their standard of living, then eventually they may get to the Premier League. They may get there because their job will be to come to training and the discipline there and so forth, and their skills will improve by playing more, by training more. But I find too often, like even in the Antigua and Barbuda Premier League, you have youngsters leaving their jobs at 4 o'clock after working an 8-hour day shift to go and train. No, you cannot get the best out of them because they are exhausted. They've been working. So all I'm saying is if that happens, I think we will improve.
Now, Ricky, let me ask you a question. And I'm one of the persons who don't believe that status quo should be maintained. But this is a small society. There are person or persons who would have gone to the next level coming through that same system. I'm not telling you that the system should remain. What I would want you to tell me, how could we avoid people going to work from 8 to 4 and play football as a living? That's all I wanted to tell me now. How people could stop going to work from 8 to 4 but play cricket as a living to get to the next level? And once you can show me and educate me how that can be done, listen, I'm on board with you.
But I will tell you two simple ways. One is that we have to have the proper infrastructure in terms of proper facilities for them to. That's the first thing that has to happen. And we can't rely totally on the government for everything. You know, if you look, for instance, something I'm very passionate about. You look across the landscape of Antigua. In almost every community, there is a playing facility. Some form of playing facility. Most of the facilities are either unfinished or unkept. I would say put down a proper facility for 3 or 4 communities to share and time manage it. So once you have that in place, then you can get corporate Antigua to come on board. Simply from, like if you look at Seaview Farm, for instance, it's surrounded and it's fenced and everything, but there's no advertising sold.
Ricky,
So
I hear what you're saying.
So
right?
I think it can be done. We have to be creative. I don't have the solutions. I don't have all the solutions there.
What I wanted to do,
but
right?
if all the brains,
I wanted to do right now, you know me, good. I wanted to wake up out of a dream and stop talking in a dream. Because guess what? First thing, let us look at corporate Antigua, right? And we want them and we need them. But if you think about it, a lot of the clubs, our teams, they get corporate Antigua on board. Somebody come, they sponsor this. Oh well, you know, we giving you $10,000, and but nobody from that corporation turns up on a regular basis to see what goes on with the club or the team and speak to the individuals to say, listen, guys, we recognize this from where we sit. We are providing financial support, but apart from the financial support, what does that corporation levy to the individual players to teach them about, if you get to the next level, financial management, the discipline, and what show on the TV one night ago, the pants down your bottom and so forth? What are the input from corporate? So I'm saying to you, my brother, you're talking, you're doing what most of us do in Antigua, the easiest thing to do. And I'm saying to you, wake up out of your dream, because guess what? There are a number of persons. For years, people are sponsoring sports clubs in Antigua, football team, basketball, cricket team. But what, apart from the finance, that the corporate side of things bring to that clubs in terms of assisting the players to be a better all-round person?
Well, I don't think it's a responsibility of corporate Antigua to make them. I think it's the responsibility of the clubs. Corporate Antigua or corporate whatever country, they're interested in when they're sponsoring or giving money. It's not just for the sake of giving money. They want something in return. They want their product or their brand marketed properly. They also want to see sales.
But that's what I was saying to you, Ricky. If you educate the persons
but it has to work in tandem
within the teams or the clubs, then what you are saying, they will eventually come back around the next door if they educate the people to that level.
I generally try, well, from in that whole debate, I take the middle ground. There's a possibility that it can happen, but there are a lot of contingencies that have to be put in place for it to actually happen. What I see culturally is that, quite rightly, like you mentioned, it's a culture we have to change. And where we are now, it is not the most conducive state for that to happen. However, I will say the potential is there, and I think it's imperative for individuals like us to keep pounding the pavement, as they say, and hopefully at some point that mindset, that culture changes. And if it changes a little bit today, that's fine. If it changes a little bit tomorrow, but eventually, if the groundwork is done and the education is done, we will get to that point eventually. Do I think it's going to happen 10 years from now? We touch and go. But at the end of the day, once we can have forums like this where individuals can get together and we can look at solutions, and I like that aspect of the new outlook for Kuma. Everybody can point out the problem.
No, but I'm telling you the truth. Let me explain something, right? When I took over the Cricket Association, right, two things I've learned, and I've said it over and over. I've learned two things. I learned to listen some more, and I also learned that everybody want me to do what they want me to do, what they want to do. That part, I can't accomplish that. I'm not trying to even accomplish that, because I know I can't. I must be honest with you. I've taken a new approach right now. You can come tomorrow and tell me about everything that happened yesterday. I may listen to you, because history is a reasonable good teacher. But let us deal with the solutions. And if we can deal with solutions, whatever happened yesterday can easily be fixed for tomorrow. And if you continue to think about you, then maybe you may not want to fix it, because this is what I did. This is what you did make no difference. No, listen, it's not important.
All sports are bigger than anyone in the
What you did is not important. What we have to do for the youths that's going to go forward and take it forward is of utmost importance. And I want all of us as administrators to understand that.
I agree with you 100%.
You understand?
100%.
I will also say to you, don't get overly excited by that tomorrow any sports in Antigua is going to be professional unless you get to the next level.
No, I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow. I'm not, as you say, I'm not that dreamy that I think it's going to happen.
So just wake up.
I think it could happen, and I
can't tell you that it couldn't. I think it could happen. Let me explain something. A couple of years ago, I remember, with all due respect, love to Fitzroy Brand. Fitzroy Brand started a cricket tournament in Antigua a time ago, a semi-professional league. I think it ran for about a month. I think they had, listen, I can't remember, but it's about four or five teams that took part in it. I was very much involved in it. I think like the players got like maybe about $120 a game or something like that. semi-professional tournament. And everybody thought that Fitwire's band was going crazy. But is it sustainable? It really was sustainable, because let us be real. A man come on the weekend and play 2 games for $240. So what is he going to do from Monday to Friday, right? You know, he's going to turn up to practice maybe
2 days out of the week.
2 days, 3 days out of the week, because maybe he have to work and he work late or something. But on the weekend, he's sure he can make $240 now. Tell me how far $240 can go.
Yeah, go far.
So exactly. So my point to you, my brother, even at that semi-professional level, except you can get that player, or let's say athlete, because I don't want to tie down just the cricket or football. It's about sports.
Yes.
Except you can get that person for saying, listen, for a week, at the minimal I can give you $1,200 a week. Yeah, you understand? Which lead to about $4,800 a month. In this society, $4,800 a month to train and perform and so forth may not be the best thing, but it may be reasonable in assisting you to get to the next level, where you can walk into a CPL or IPL that, you know, 3 weeks time you make $800,000 US. But so I'm saying to you, it's a challenge, a real challenge.
Before we leave you here tonight,
You get in trouble with time.
Yeah, we're coming.
That time look tight, you know.
Yeah. So before we leave you here, I would just like to tell you, the Antigua and Barbuda Premier League Football Club is basically semi-professional, because a lot of overseas players are brought in here.
It is not. It is not semi-professional.
That's a different kind of argument.
I'll tell you. Let me give you a word for it. It is not semi-professional. It is biased professional.
Well, whatever you want to call it. Players are
just
being
tell you.
Players are being brought in from overseas and being paid.
When I say the players come from where?
The players come.
Are the local players paid?
No, I don't think so.
So
I don't know. I
biased.
say that. I don't know.
I'm telling you, based on my knowledge, it is biased.
But what I'm saying is that
you're not listening.
No, I am listening. But what I'm saying is that if you could pay the overseas ones coming in, why not the locals? But anyway,
so that's what I'm telling you. It's biased professional.
But it's still. But you tell me that the card is not sustainable. But it
is not sustainable. It's sustainable for the persons coming in. So it's biased professional. Because the locals guys still have to go to work and come at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock for training.
Don't bring in overseas one and pay the locals.
I can't tell you all that. You will saw that.
The final thing I'm gonna say about that, and I unfortunately, Ricky, I'm gonna have to side with Kuma on the that and
you can call it what you want to call it.
The issue of it not being sustainable. Because when you look at football, the prize money for winning the Premier Division in Antigua is about $20,000, and teams are spending in excess of $120,000 and still not winning the Premier Division. So. And that's why I say you open a can of worms. That's a 3 week discussion.
Yeah. 3 weeks, 5 months.
Anyway,
Kuma, thanks a lot for joining us.
I just want to thank you guys for inviting me. It's a long time. Invite me anytime. I'm going to be more than open to come here, especially as the season develops. Thank you very much.
Clear up the back end of our schedule so we can give you more than 25 minutes.
Because if you invite me for 8 o'clock and make me come in the 15:15, I don't like them kind of things. But again, thank you guys very much. It has been fruitful. I hope that we can move from strength to strength. And let us hope that the person or persons who have the authority to listen. That's some kind of a meditation.
Yes.
Let the person who have the ability to listen. Because only them can assist us to change things.
Exactly.
Excellent. So that was President of the Antigua Barbuda Cricket Association, Mr. Leon Kuma Rodney, giving us a little bit of information about the ICC, the Women's T20, as well as the local program as to what's happening with cricket. Right now we're going to take our first commercial break, really quick commercial break, and we're going to be back with more from the Automotive Arts GN Sports Show on ABS Radio and on Facebook Live.
ABS 90.5 FM is the new home of the Generation Next Sports Show. 90 minutes of sports that will edify and inspire you. Join the hosts as they showcase budding stars. Plus, they will keep you informed about the latest developments in the wonderful world of sports. Thursday evenings at 7:30 will never be the same again. The GN Sports Show, Thursdays at 7:30 on its new home, ABS Radio, and on Facebook Live. Don't miss it.
Conversations is back. But before we meet our guests for season 2, we'll take a look back at the highlights of season 1 all throughout the month of September. So join us every Monday at 8 p.m. for Conversations right here on ABS.
APA would like to inform consumers that the electricity network will be closely monitored during Hurricane Irma. Based on the severity of the weather conditions, the network will be completely closed down to minimize damage. This will be done under the advice of the Met Office. Residents are asked to have a supply of flashlights and other battery-operated lighting equipment. Candles and kerosene lamps are possible fire hazards and not encouraged.
Back live on Facebook and on ABS Radio with more from the the Automotive Arts GN Sports Show, and we're going to join Dr. Rick Millis via telephone.
Yeah, he went away.
Yes, Thanksgiving, so Dr. Millis
and
had a chance to visit his family back in the States. But you know, as usual, the resident doctor is going to join us. Dr. Millis, are you on the line?
I am. How are you?
We're doing fine. How are you? How's your Thanksgiving break?
We have a good connection.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. A little bit faint, but I got you. I got my speaker all the way up. Good.
Excellent.
Anyway, it's very cold here in Washington, D.C., actually southern Maryland, outside of Washington, D.C. It's about 35 degrees, and I'm freezing. I just took a very hot shower, and I stretched. And while I was stretching, I was thinking about you guys in the shower. Don't get excited. Don't get too excited now.
Well, first of all, Doc, thanks for agreeing to do this phone session here. It was very nice of you to take time out of your family travels to afford us the allotted time for your show.
Well, it's very nice of you to accommodate me. Very good. So we have a mutual admiration society.
And I'd just like to let you know, Doc, when you get back, the GN Sports Show will be carried on television live, radio simultaneously, and Facebook Live.
Television live? Oh my God! Are you going to provide me with makeup and wardrobe and hair and all of that?
We'll put that in on your requisition.
Put that in on my contract because we don't want to scare the audience.
Okay, and Doc, what are we talking tonight about?
Okay, and I'm glad you gave me an alert, so I'm going to go out and buy some nice clothes so I look good on ABS.
No, don't forget you have the GN Sports Show gear.
Oh, that's true. I have that too. But I think I'll mix it up. Sometimes I'll dress up and sometimes I'll dress GN.
Okay, I think we were supposed to talk tonight about movement.
Movement, yes. While I was in the shower, I was thinking about movement. You know, a lot of people get very stiff. I know when I sit at my desk for a long time, I get very stiff. What about you, Ricky? Do you get stiff?
No, because I don't do as much exercise as you.
Okay. No, but the point is, sedentary lifestyle makes you stiff, especially as you get older. And you know, a lot of people, we sit at the computers. We hunch over when we're sitting at the computers. We're not using good posture.
Yes,
and
I know that.
We get stiff. And we think that it's our muscles that are stiff. And that may be true, but what we're finding out from research now, more than the muscles being stiff, it's the connective tissue. You know, when you eat chicken or you eat a steak, you're eating the meat, you're eating the muscle, right?
Right.
That's what gives us the protein. But in between that muscle, you see those fibers called fascia. It's connective tissue. And those fibers are oriented in a certain way based on the stresses that are put on our muscles. Our tendons and ligaments are also made of connective tissue, not of muscle, of connective tissue. And what we're finding out is the pain fibers, the pain nerves, are in the muscle, but more of them are in the connective tissue than in the muscle. So when we say our muscles are sore, it's probably that our connective tissue is sore. Isn't that interesting?
Very.
Now, our connective tissue has to be slippery. It has to slide. Okay? It's not, real firm. And so it has to be adequately hydrated. So you make sure you have enough water, you have enough fluid intake during the day. Otherwise, that makes your connective tissue stiff. And then the pain fibers will be firing off pain signals to your brain. So, again, posture and lack of movement makes you stiff. If you sit hunched over at the computer, if you stay in the same posture all day and don't move around, it's a real problem.
So what you're saying, we should spend less time on the computers then?
Of course, yes.
And more time playing sport.
Unless you're moving around while you're doing it.
That's kind of difficult to move around when you're in the computer.
Exactly.
So how long you think anyone should spend, let's say, sitting down playing a game or on a computer?
Oh, I don't think they should do it for more than 45 minutes without getting up and moving around.
Oh, so that's...
I haven't done that research, so I don't really have that data to say exactly how long, it should be. That's just based on my experience.
So if we're talking about the youth, because they spend a lot of time not necessarily on the computer, but playing games either on the computer or through their game console.
Yes.
So they should spend less time as children, or is it only for adults that need to move around more?
Right, and because the youth has the advantage of youth that you and I don't have, Ricky, they're not affected as much as older people staying in one position. They're already better lubricated. Their connective tissue is better lubricated, and
so they can spend
basically not aged as much, and so they don't have as much of a problem as we do. It's easier. They're more flexible.
Oh, so then
on the other hand,
so what you're saying is that they can spend more time on the computer.
Yeah, they probably can, and not have any real ill effects. I'm talking mostly about adults. But now when we get to everybody, including adults and youth, we have a tendency to think that we have to lift heavy weights and we have to stay fit. We have to do a lot of fancy exercises. And the reality is, the whole principle behind yoga and stretching is to move that connective tissue, to get that connective tissue to slide, to lubricate it, and that enhances the muscle performance. So even if you're not lifting heavy weights, every morning you can get out of bed and do some good stretches.
Or walk a couple miles a day.
Or walk a couple of miles a day. Anything you do to maintain that connective tissue will help maintain the muscle. And maintaining the connective tissue also releases growth factors that affect the muscles that they are nearby.
And tell me something, Doc. By sitting down long hours, let's say watching television, playing on a game console or on a computer, would that muscle tissue cause cramps?
Yes, of course. It causes cramps. I mean, that cramp is nothing more than pain signals. And so those pain signals are, amplified by the more and more time you sit and you don't move that connective tissue. So even when you're sitting at the computer, by the way, you can do exercises. You can put your arms up in the air. You can move your arms around. You can move your shoulders. You can shrug your shoulders. You can do a lot of things to keep your connective tissue moving. You see? The other interesting aspect of it is massage. People think, well, I need to pay a lot of money for a massage. But really, people can massage themselves.
By just moving around your arms and...
Yeah, people can... When you massage yourself, not only you're massaging the muscle, but you're massaging the connective tissue. You're increasing the blood flow. You're lubricating the areas. And that movement is help maintaining your muscles, even if you're not lifting heavy weights and doing any sports.
Okay, Doc, we were running a little late tonight, so we have to cut this segment here a little short. But thanks a lot for.
What's the message? The take-home message is movement. Movement. Aging results in lack of movement usually, and so the not enough movement.
Okay.
So whatever a person can do, whether you're young or you're old, stretch, do some yoga, even if it's not yoga, massage yourself, get somebody to massage you or massage yourself. And by the way, they have these rollers. You can get these muscle rollers. They look like rolling pins.
Yes, I'm familiar with that. I've seen that.
In your connective tissue.
I've seen that. My good wife uses that.
Yeah. There's a lot of things people can do. So keep moving, everybody. And I will be back with some sort of fancy outfit for ABS TV in a couple of weeks.
Okay, well, we look forward to having you back, and when you're back, you'll be live on TV.
Wow!
And
really
simultaneously on
that.
radio and Facebook Live.
Excellent. You're making real progress there.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us and taking time out from your Thanksgiving vacation.
Yes, thank you very much. But next week I'll also be here, so we'll do the same thing next week. Are you on TV next week?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. But we can still have it. See if we can still have the call-in.
Yeah, definitely. We'll do that, Dr. Millis. All right, Dr. Millis, thanks again for joining us, and we'll be in touch.
Okay.
And we'll just go straight in.
Yes, so that was Dr. Millis. Remember, if there's something in particular you want Dr. Millis to talk about, feel free to drop us a line, and we'll have that on our list of things to discuss. Vicky, we're wrapping up, but
I know this is bittersweet for you.
Yeah.
Because Shalana's in the house.
And
but I know
the tournament finished, so this seemed like the last week.
I know because Shalana, when I called her yesterday, I said, "Don't forget, this is the last lap," and Shalana said, "Well, Mr. Spooner may be coming." I said, "Well, Shalana, I don't know how I'm going to break that news to Zico. That's going to be a difficult set of news for me to break."
I see Philip all the time, so
yeah.
Anyways, Shalana, welcome.
Welcome.
As
Hi,
usual, unfortunately,
and we want to compliment you on such a wonderful tournament that you were part of making
Thank
happen.
you. But I didn't do it alone. I did it with the team, both regional and the venue team. I just want to say, give a big shout out and a big thank you to everyone who worked on this tournament. It was a lot of hard work, dedication, blood, sweat, and tears, and we all for about nearly a whole year committed to this tournament, to making it big, to making it a magnificent event, amazing, something that the Caribbean has never seen before, even Antigua, for us to host the semifinals and the finals. So I just want to say a big shout out, big thank you, and job well done to everyone who worked on this tournament.
Well, we had just prior to you coming on, we had the president of the Antigua and Barbuda Cricket Association,
Kuma,
my
co-worker,
and he was no short of praises for you guys in what you did and what you accomplished.
Yes.
Well, I had fun. I had fun from the warm-up matches to the watch parties to the actual semi-finals and the finals. I know our girls came up short, but
You know, they
but
still,
I had
like,
fun. I had
mean,
fun,
they
and
came
they,
up short, yes.
They did well.
But they did well. They broke records, and I'm still very proud of their performance.
Yes.
I'm speechless because it's just to see how talented they are and the work that they've put in, the prep, everything, and it came up to that one moment, and then just to see it, just slip away, from your hands. They were under a lot of pressure,
Yeah.
because they wanted to win at home, and I mean they had so much support. But even if they lost, they lost. Although they lost, they're still winners.
Yeah,
They're
and apart
still
from
winners
being
in our hearts.
apart from them being good cricketers, they are a lovely
They're
bunch
really,
of young
really good
ladies.
persons.
Yes, they are.
They are a lovely
They're
bunch
a
of
fun
young.
bunch.
Yes, they're a lovely
Really
bunch of
good
young
persons.
ladies. So we have to give them all the kudos. Yes, we were a little disappointed that they didn't make it to the finals and win it all.
But
we were a little disappointed, but we are still, as you just said, extremely proud of them.
Yes, we are, and the fact that we showed up on the finals and it was sold out to the point where we had way more over the capacity of the stadium, of persons that could be at the stadium. I mean, it shows that we not only supported the West Indies team, we supported the tournament overall, we supported the women,
Well-
we supported everyone that worked on this team. As you can see, my voice is
Coming
back.
I think a lot of kudos have to come to the team that promoted it, managed it, sportstainment wise, and everything. I think
That aspect of
that
it for
is
me
what
went
made
along
that is what
really,
sold
really
it.
long
That
way
is what
because
sold the whole event in all throughout all the islands.
There's no way that you get that amount, that support for a cricket competition, because usually the support you get for cricket competitions are the cricket fans. And for us to fill the stadium to capacity, it meant that the casual people who, okay, fine, I know the score, but not the ardent cricket fans. We had a culmination of
We got to everybody.
Which
is what we
And
wanted.
and what was it like?
Kudos must go to our local organizing committee, not only local organizing committee, but Shalana and her group in terms of hitting the ground and getting the information out there and getting people excited. I was excited, and I told Kuma the same thing. I got excited about the tournament when we had that match with the food fair.
Yes.
I knew
A lot of people
after
got
that, I
excited.
knew it was going to
Yes.
be epic. It was going to be massive, and the Antiguan public came out.
But what was it like in the other territories?
Oh, it was amazing. The energy, especially in St. Lucia, it was amazing. Like I said,
Was it as sold out as here? Or?
Yes, St. Lucia was sold out. Guyana as well. So it was a lot of support. I'm telling you. Even the neighboring islands, persons from the neighboring islands came over, just to watch the matches. So like I said, it wasn't just for the host islands. It was for the Caribbean, which is why it was called the Women's World T20 West Indies 2018.
Yes. It was wonderfully well attended throughout all the islands.
It really was.
And then, of course, you had the supporters coming from India.
Of course, yeah.
And
So India,
England.
even Australia, England. Well, English fans, they
Yeah.
follow
Yeah.
sports anywhere.
I don't
Yeah.
think we could have asked for a better semi-final lineup.
We
We had
couldn't.
England,
Yes.
we had Australia, we had India,
and the West Indies.
and the West Indies.
And those were the teams to watch from the beginning of the tournament.
And
especially Australia. Australia won.
Not only
lost
because
no matches.
not only because of the ability of the players, but the fans that follow these teams traditionally. And Kuma alluded to it, the incredible economic benefit that was derived from all of this, because again, wherever the English go, the English go.
The English follow. Yep. English and Indians.
In the Indians.
Wherever the
A
Indians-
lot of them, as you know, majority of the ethnicity in Guyana is Indian.
Indian.
So they had a lot of support. They even had a lot of people that came in to watch those matches. So it was great. It was, like I said, there was a lot of support in all the islands: Antigua, Saint Lucia, Guyana. It was tremendous turnout, and we just want to say thank you to all the supporters who came out and supported the tournament in Antigua, in Guyana, St. Lucia, even if you were watching it on TV, the fact that you tuned in, even if you were listening on radio, watching it on live, on Facebook when you tuned into the T20 Facebook or ICC Facebook page, we just want to say thank you. It was great having you. It was great having you support us, and look out for the next one.
But tell me something, now that has been such a success, has Cricket West Indies looked at hosting regional tournaments in a similar fashion to keep the support going for the female cricketers?
Of course, we have to. We have to keep it going. We have to keep it going. We can't just stop right here. We have to keep it going. We have to keep that enthusiasm. We have to keep that support, because the ladies are doing great things.
Right.
You know, even like I said, even though they lost in the semifinals, the support was still there. The support was still there for the tournament, because they came out, they supported Australia, and they supported England for the finals. So it was not just about the cricket alone. It was about the women and what they can do and what they've done so far and what they're capable of, and what to look out for in the future.
So we're looking forward to a regional tournament hyped up to continue.
Yes, and definitely we have to develop the sport where women are concerned, because it was a male dominated sport.
Yeah. Still is.
So this tournament has given young women around the Caribbean and even around the world hope and inspiration that they too can become cricketers. They too can be here at the finals. They too can win a World Cup. They too can win a T20 championship. It's just giving them hope. So we have to develop that part. Keep it going for the ladies. Let them know that they can be a part.
I know a tremendous amount of money was spent in terms of the promotion and the artists and everything. It was a tremendous amount of money.
I wouldn't say tremendous amount, but we spent a decent amount. I wouldn't say a good amount. We spent a decent amount. Yeah. We spent a decent amount, because a lot of persons seem to think that we were millionaires when basically we were just just managed it really well.
Yeah, but ICC it didn't cost the Cricket West Indies the money. ICC, I would imagine, funded
it's their tournament. Yes,
yeah, it's their tournament.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they would not have put in the funds had they not had the media rights and the media money coming in.
Of course.
To help put back into the coffers.
Yes.
And I hope the West Indies, Cricket West Indies, got some remuneration out of it also, so they could further develop the female.
I am interested.
The female part.
I am interested to see the demographic of the game, if it changes within the next couple of years as far as the participation with our young women, because I think this tournament being hosted in the West Indies can or it has a potential to act as a catalyst to get so many more young women involved, not just in cricket but in sports in generally. Because one of the things that I've noticed as a coach is that one of the reasons we struggle with sports in terms of developing the females is that they get into the sports a lot later than the males.
That's true.
And I am hoping that this tournament can act as a catalyst to encourage our young ladies. You know what? It's okay. It's okay if you play ball. It's okay if you play cricket. But I also recognize the importance of the culture changing as far as the parents are concerned. Because in many instances, we still traditional in a lot of senses where parents, especially mothers, are encouraging their boys to go outside and play, but the girls are supposed to stay inside. And if this tournament highlighted anything, it should be the fact that the girls can do just as good, or in some instances better.
Well, in this case, the women's are doing better than the men cricket teams.
I'm interested to see the next couple of years what it looks like, not only locally in terms of our girls participating in sports, but what happens as a region. I know the Trinidad and Jamaica, they have their females on the go, but for the small islands, for the Antiguas, for St. Kitts, St. Lucia, Dominica, how is this? That is my biggest take from the tournament, and how is that going to impact our
This is
development.
where programs like the grassroots programs and so on would come in. For instance, throughout this tournament, we had the CSR program where we launched our mothers and daughters cricket session, which happened on the 20th of October, I think it was, or probably earlier. I could probably have the dates mixed up, but yes. So it's things like this that young girls can look forward to in the future in terms of grassroots and preserving the sport and giving them that opportunity to also be where these young ladies are at this point in time and probably even doing better, greater things.
Excellent stuff. Well, anyway, I enjoyed myself at the tournament, and I'm pretty sure everybody did. But Shalana, again, thank you for gracing us with your presence and brightening up our studio.
You're welcome.
I'm pretty sure that we're gonna see Shalana again in a not too distant future. I think England comes in, so hopefully Shalana will be part of.
So I can't take a vacation. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. So it is.
Yeah, you can take the vacation between now and then.
Yeah, but it's a bittersweet show with you, Shalana.
Yeah, because
it was a pleasure.
Looking at Ricky whole
it
night.
was a pleasure hosting you here.
Thank you. And it was a pleasure coming
over the
here
last
every
few months.
Thursday and getting your little trinkets and stuff like
Yes.
that. Oh, but before we leave, I just want to say a special thank you to our tournament ambassadors, Darren Sammy for St. Lucia, Andy Roberts here for Antigua. We also had Viv Richards, whose stadium the event was hosting at, and of course it was sold out. And Viv told us, he's very grateful and thankful to see his stadium looked so beautiful, and the fact that it was so filled and the tremendous support for the tournament. Clive Lloyd, Chandra Paul, all of them. I just want to say, thank you for